the Hip Hop Scholar podcast, where we honor hip hop not just as a genre, but as a global language, a living archive, and a creative technology of survival, resistance, and imagination. This is the space where beats become theory, bars become testimony, and artists become architects of culture. And today we are joined by an artist who is not simply entering the conversation, he is rewriting the syntax. Jaysanityy has stepped into the studio with a sonic vision that feels both ancestral and futuristic, grounded and airborne, intimate and explosive. From the moment his music hits your chest, you know you're listening to someone who refuses to shrink his creativity. His sound is a world of its own. The grit of classic boom bap, the velocity of modern trap, the shimmer of digital futurism, and the emotional honesty that pulls you in before you even realize it. This is an artist who isn't following trends, he's bending them. He's shaping a lane built from discipline, imagination, and a refusal to be boxed in. Where others chase virality, Jaysanityy chases depth. Where others mimic, he innovates, and where others perform, he reveals. His lyrics carry intention, his production carries atmosphere, and his presence carries the urgency of someone who knows exactly why he creates. On today's episode, we're diving deep into the layers, how he found his voice in a crowded digital landscape, the philosophies behind his creative process, the insecurities, transformations, and breakthroughs that shaped his artistry, the communities and cultures that molded his sound, and the legacy he's building with every track that he drops. This is not a surface level conversation. This is not fast food hip hop commentary. This is a scholar sitting with a true artist whose work deserves to be studied. So take a breath, adjust your headphones, and settle into this moment, because today we're witnessing the evolution of an artist whose future is already echoing into the present. This is the Hip Hop Scholar podcast, and you're about to experience the depth, the craft, and the creative force, Jaysanityy.
I was looking forward to your intro because I was peeping the other videos, and your intros are just like top tier. Like, I appreciate you for having me for sure.
Oh, absolutely, Jaysanityy. As I shared earlier, I see you on TikTok with the raw freestyle, very reminiscent to the early 90s. Like, you have a gift, and again, to be studied. And I want to unpack that with you. So I appreciate the appreciation, but you are welcome here, and we give flowers to our artists and guests on this podcast, sir.
Thank you, man. Honor, like, honestly, yes. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. Well, let's start from the very beginning. The very first question that I ask artists: when did you fall in love with hip hop? What was that for you? Tell us when, where, why, and how.
Mm, um, I think I want to say my like earliest experience with hip hop really came from just being around certain environments. Like, my parents are immigrants from Liberia, and my dad he was in the country when he came in. When I was born, it was just like, even now we have so many just old African CDs and tapes that he used to play around, and I don't even think like my family realizes how much the stuff they played, like just slowly influenced me. But I say my first experience, like really falling in love with rap music, came from when I was like those times when I was in the car, because there wasn't a lot of rap music on the CDs, but you know the American CDs that had the American songs, I I gravitated. So it had the classic R&B. It was really more so like R&B, like old school Beyonce, Destiny's Child, and what was like really popping during the early 2000s. And
Mm-hmm.
it's this one song by Hurricane Chris called "A Baby," and I'll say that song was really like the first time I remember like really enjoying like a rap song that I heard. And from there and on, like from that point, I just like it just became a thing where I just started doing my own research about the basic knowledge and like everybody that came before me. And yeah, now we here.
Now we're here. Now we're growing. Hurricane Chris is from my hometown, the Shreveport, Louisiana. And so he really created a culture of that type of rap and representing 5150 Ratchet City, Port City, and really created something amazing that our city can really lean on for popularity and notoriety. So I'm very proud that that was the song and artist that you shared as part of your lineage of hip hop, in addition to R&B. You know, Beyonce, Destiny's Child, you know, they mingled more hip hop and R&B mixture, right? Because of the way that they performed and placed their lyrics together, and then having that African background. I mean, that is a very poignant point that you brought, that coming from your culture, and I do hope that you do share that with your family, that that also is a part of your hip hop identity, is your Liberian culture, that African beats and all of those pieces is what makes it very authentic. That speaks volumes to why you have such authenticity when it comes to those freestyles that you've been posting on TikTok. That's interesting, quite interesting.
Yeah, I actually appreciate you peeping the freestyles. Cause like I actually
Mm-hmm.
did just start posting them because I ran out of content and I just been trying to sharpen my, like I said, sharpen my pen. So yeah, yeah, appreciate the love on that.
But that's the real content, especially people like myself. And I know you have a bigger audience. They may
That's
not
cool.
like
That's
or
cool.
comment, but you have the views there, right? And like I've been sharing this on a few different interviews, that social media has people gassed up thinking that having 10 likes is nothing. But imagine getting jumped by 10 people in real life. That's something
Yeah,
major, right? So,
I've been saying that. Yeah,
mhm.
I'm trying to understand that because I'm like I think when I was younger, when it comes to likes on social media, I used to get caught up in that type of thing. Of course, now like I've kind of gotten over that as an artist and like just being able to consistently post. It gets to a point where you kind of just got to be like, hey, it's a number. And like you said, 10 people, like that's a lot of people, depending in the context, like in which somebody is getting jumped. So
Yeah.
it's like 10 people is better than zero. Yeah.
That's right. Even that one person that's listening, like for myself, I'm listening. And this is part of my doctoral studies, is to archive and listen to the themes and the patterns of the real artists that are out there. So you are a real hip hop artist, Jaysanityy, and I want to learn from you, which is why I'm glad that we were able to meet together for this interview, because you do have something there. You have something very special and very intricate that should be studied. So let's talk about the origin and your identity. What was the first moment for you that made you realize that music wasn't just something that you listened to; it was something that you wanted to create? What happened in your life and in that moment where music wasn't just entertainment; it was something that was innate in you?
Hmm. Dang, it's every time I like get asked questions like this, it'd be hard to answer because it's really just a combination of multiple things that I just been doing since I was a kid. Because when
All right.
I was really into drawing and just like like making comics and creative stuff, and like around that time I was still kind of doing music and still getting into it, but I think just being a kid and like being kind of impressionable as a kid, like that kind of opens you to different things and for ways for you to get tapped into certain things. And I think with music specifically, it was just like the way it made me feel and the energy behind it, and recognizing that like from an early age, it can be a tool that kind of gets you like to be in tune with your memories, because you listen to a certain song and like it kind of brings you back to a time in your life, and it's just little things like that. And being able to just listen to what I make and what I, you know, like just being able to hear something that I make and enjoy it, you know. So I think just it being a different form of expression is really the one thing that draw me closer to music than anything else. Because I really do be using this like as an outlet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So you were talking. What were those things that you were drawing? So you said that you started as an artist creating and drawing. So what type of art were you creating when you would draw and sketch?
Man, I was drawing anything. Literally anything. I used to draw cars for like when I was a kid. I used to actually
Okay.
be heavy into cars, and I would draw those and really just like I would look at pictures and draw, try to like accurately, you know, recreate what I'm looking at. And yeah, I don't know. Just I used to just make stuff and just random stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, the majority of your drawings were cars and cars that you would find in magazines and different things and such. I mean, all that matters. All of that experience matters. Even the little nuance of details where it's like, oh, it's just something random. No, it's something specific that resonated with you and built into something bigger. So I wonder if you're still drawing cars or if you still have an affinity to vehicles. And I wonder that. And then also that mimicking of that engineering. And again, that makes me think about when you're freestyling, how you remind me of when Busta Rhymes was part of the new school. And when I tell you, but back in the day, Busta Rhymes in the 80s and the 90s, when he was with Q-Tip and Fife Dog, and the whole crew, like he was a force to be reckoned with when it came to his lyrical style, which is why he was able to go independent. And that's who you remind me of. So I wonder if that was somebody that you know, happen to listen to, because you don't rap identical to him, but it's as you have the same bravado as Busta Rhymes. And I wonder if you're taking the essence of these different music styles, because with African Liberian beats, like what is that music like? Talk to us about what was that? What's the experience with listening to Liberian music?
All right. All right. So okay. So I'm gonna break it down because I'm trying to remember the Busta Rhyme question. But with that, with Liberian music, it's funny because I think out of just the West African sound in general, I think Liberia has a really different sound um than like typical, you know, Afro beats or like typical music that you would hear in West Africa. I think Liberians really just be doing their own thing, so it just, you know, like you'll hear heavy auto tune and you'll hear like really intricate pockets and really interesting flows. It's like in within particularly within like Liberian rap. I think that
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to realize like how much that has influenced me. And yes, with the Busta Rhymes, I think with Busta Rhymes, I like I said, like when I was a kid, I went back and I did like, you know, the basic knowledge on who I came across, and Busta Rhymes definitely was one of those people. And his or like with his origins with the native tongues and tribe and Q, like I think I definitely am a student of that, you know, like that era. And you know, I definitely pull influences, maybe not directly like you said, but it's definitely all there, you know, because it's all within the same realm, you know, that native song. At least he don't really, he kind of like doesn't make that, you know, in the later half of his career, but like his origin roots, you know, it's like yeah, I relate to that
Mm-hmm.
heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Busta Rhymes.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Busta Rhymes and how you've made it your own. Like you are not a duplicate or a carbon copy of any other rapper that I've seen, but it definitely shows that, you know, you were influenced and have that in you as a hip hop artist. And you know, you have hip hop, you have rap, but your lyrics are very methodically thought about, right? Especially from the freestyle, not the writing. You're freestyling spoken word in a rapid beat and in real time. You're not editing any of that. So that's, again, this next question, I deem the way that you rap as sonic architecture, right? Your sound blends raw emotion, trap
Well, you cooking,
energy.
you cooking. Wait.
Oh, let me
Yeah,
cook, let me cook. Yeah,
that's
sonic
actually
architecture.
really interesting. I'm gonna let you cook. I'm gonna let you cook.
Yeah, okay. Because again, your sound blends raw emotion, trap energy, and futuristic production. How would you describe the architecture of your sound, and what elements are non-negotiable when you do make a track? So let's talk about Jaysanity's sonic architecture. Talk to us.
I think I describe my sound as really animated. I be feeling like I'm still like trying to not necessarily piece together my sound, but still like make it a full circle moment. So I'm still discovering new things and I'm still experimenting. But yeah, I I'm real like really heavy on how my production sounds and like I'm really picky on like what it is I'm rapping on. So I try to just put as much detail and just be like open minded on that while also being consistent. And yeah, I like the description that you gave for what you heard though. I think that was really interesting. Yeah.
Again, because again, it's futuristic, and then it's still got that trap, that raw, you know, terror that's in it, but also just a raw emotion that goes along with it. So when you do rap, what are some non-negotiables? Is it that you're gonna make certain that you represent where you're from? Or are you just gonna go off the dome with how you're feeling that day? Is it a mood that you have to be in? Like, what does it take for you to create a track? Let's start there. Is it a sound? Is it the beat? Is it a mood? Is it colors? Like, what is that for you when you start on your freestyle or just creating a track altogether?
And it really just depends on what it is that's going on that day. Like um I be like I say when I'm in album mode and I have like a concept or something that I know that I'm like, trying to make into a actual song. More recently, I think that process has been me sitting with, the lyrics and actually studying what I'm saying and actually memorizing them before I record. Because most of the time when I like record, I do just like write. I'm not really, I can't freestyle and I do freestyle often, but like writing is really how I get my point across most of the time. So I write and then record after, but I realize that just taking time and to just memorize the verse
Mm-hmm.
can just be so beneficial in the future because you could even if I want to change something that I'm trying to say, I have the time to do that before I actually record. If I. Have like a better pocket. So I think that yeah yeah
Yeah.
I
So what you're
one thing I'll
please.
say about
Hmm.
go ahead my man. Yo, the delay
No,
is
you go ahead,
crazy in here,
please.
but go ahead.
It's on you. It's on you. Please continue.
Yeah, you good? Cause I really don't even remember what I was about to say, and the delay done already messed everything up. You
Well,
good? You good?
I'm building off what you're saying because what you're talking about is metacognition, right? And as scholars and what I teach students is that thinking about your thinking. So you're taking the time that Kairos, thinking about what you want to write, and then placing it in writing, and then thinking about that thought process before you perform, because as a content creator you want it to be specific, you want it to be right for the audience, especially a global audience that you're presenting to. But that's being metacognitive in your ability to showcase your lyrics. That comes with confidence, that comes with the knowledge base of the writing process. And like you said, depending on the day. So this is your therapy. It's therapeutic, even cathartic, for you to be able to place these words together and then perform them. And that it resonates, and I wanted to share that with you, even in the pre-meeting, that, I've seen you on several of them. And it's like, this young man has something. And on this podcast, not only do I interview, but I also want to make clear for you to continue what you're doing, right? Not just for the audience, but for yourself, because you have something there that is really something truly special. So I want to encourage you to continue on, young scholar, because, again, that sonic architecture, I've listened to many different songs for many different decades, but everybody has their own style, especially those who are very true to this. And, your sound, that's my first time coming up with a term, sonic architecture. So shout out to you, Jaysanityy, because you're really putting something together that's authentic for the world. For sure. So let me ask you too, because like you said, shout out to LP the rapper, and Atlanta rapper, but you all being from two different states, for sure. Now, in this digital landscape where artists feel pressured to create for the algorithm, how do you stay grounded in authenticity while still navigating through these realities of the modern platforms? So, in this digital landscape, it can be a challenge, especially for the algorithm. But how do you stay grounded? What do you do to make certain that you stay grounded and you stay true to Jaysanityy?
I think it definitely is like a type of thing you gotta find a balance within. But as for me, I'm the type of person where like I started making music just cause like this is what I'm really interested in and this is what I just enjoy doing. And that really has been like the baseline behind everything. And I think for people that are just doing what they want to do because they genuinely love what they're doing, I do think like you're gonna be fine. Like as long as you know find a balance. If you are trying to reach a certain like level, then of course you're gonna have to kind of cater to a certain demographic. But I think I definitely, and I'm seeing artists who are doing it, and there's a way to do it without you know conforming completely to an algorithm or like just the industry standards or whatever it is. So I think just me, when it comes to me, I think just the fact that I am always pushing my sound and I'm not getting comfortable or I'm not trying to, and I'm just like trying to find ways to expand my pen and network. I think those are the things that really keep me focused on why I started doing this to begin with, because I be seeing so many artists and they just get off the path and they just be looking a certain way. And that's also another thing, like looking at people's mistakes and realizing what not to do and realizing that I don't want to be like them and just trying to find a way. Yeah.
Yeah. Find a way back to who you are and who you are becoming. And essentially making the algorithm do what you want it to do, right? If you have a mind frame to say, I'm a network, I'm a reach out, I'm gonna make certain that I'm gonna observe, and through these observations, I'm gonna find the weaknesses and the mistakes of others and capitalize on that instead of just relying on this algorithm and just again, all of that is part of metacognition, but also this tier of thinking about being this content creator. Because I was speaking to another group and there's really not a lot of textbooks, right, on how to actually use the algorithm. It's kind of trial and error, experimental, and just trying to figure it out as you go along. But that authenticity, that part is the non-negotiable, is staying true to who you are despite this algorithm and the pressures through this vast digital landscape that we're in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think also like I also see it like just getting easy to lose yourself in the progress because I think when it comes to the content and when it comes to the music stuff, everybody's doing like once people see you reach a certain level, it does get to a point where some people might like treat you different or now you like you got caught up in the hype and or somebody like along the path that you doing what you're doing they come along and then they change and they try to take you off the direction and I be seeing that happen a lot and I just I'm really a really picky person when it comes to like how I want my career to go because like this really is like all I'm doing and I just already have like a certain way I want everything mapped out so yeah I'll be thinking about that a lot.
And that's staying true to that process, your own process, and what your vision of success looks like. And that's so important, whether it's in music, digital media, in college, in career, in life altogether. Staying true to yourself and staying true to that plan and process that you have for yourself and not letting peer pressure, what they say, whoever they are, letting they tell you what's going to be best for you when, you can hear what they have to say. You can take the criticism, but also accepting the fact that you don't need their feedback either. You can take the feedback or observe like you're doing, taking this omnipotent stance to kind of look and view what everybody is doing and then form your own conclusions as well. There's many different ways to do that, but you sound very knowledgeable and wise, young scholar, when it comes to that. So, hats off to you for really thinking through and being persnickety is the word, being very persnickety and meticulous in what you do allow into your atmosphere. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for noticing like for real thank you for noticing because yeah that like that it's just an important thing to me but I'll say like even when it comes to feedback and criticism it's a hip-hop thing where we like like F a rap critic and I'm gonna always like stand on that but when it comes to like collaboration and the criticism is coming from a place at that point of view like genuinely somebody I'm working with then it's like of course that's more of a open space, and of course I'm a if I already trust your creative vision, then I'm not gonna tweak over like your opinion. I'm gonna just let you do, I'm gonna let you cook. But yeah, people on the internet, people, just outside views, all that, like, because like I said, I grew up as an impressionable kid, so it was like I literally had to teach myself to not get caught up in like what other like I guess what other people what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Like what other people like bring you towards and everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely understand what you're saying. And I want to also give you the opportunity to explain your thoughts too. So feel free to speak as much. I am actively listening to everything because you're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. And our audience benefits from hearing from artists as you continue on and letting the world catch up with you and having that opportunity to network with other artists and then again accepting their feedback as opposed to you get a negative comment from a troll who doesn't even have a profile picture and letting that eat you up because all of us and that's the way the algorithm works too where they have these bots that are going to say something negative just because that negativity spurs the algorithm and some people aren't able to divide their emotions in that way and that can perpetuate something else but the track that you're on though Jaysanityy, it really sounds like you have a good footing on what you expect and what you inspect as you go along and making certain that you are not lost in the sauce. Oh yeah.
Can't get lost in the sauce, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, for the most part, I think I like to think I am, because at the end of the day, I don't know how this is gonna go, but like I'm just yeah, I got a vision of like I said, how I want everything to plan out.
Right, because you never know how it's going to go. You never know what happens. You may end up getting that multi-million-dollar deal. You may end up being a producer, being even hired on as a ghostwriter, or even going into some other field that uses this same confidence, this same process thinking that you're doing, and be successful in that range. You know, you're a young person, so all of this helps to build your identity to the world and to yourself in all different domains. And again, I say this several times about how hip hop is this nuclear structure that just assists in so many different facets of life, whether it's entertainment or therapy or research. And for my case, scholarship and pedagogy and curriculum, being able to use, this is my laboratory. So my field experience with speaking to artists, this helps me to help to build a curriculum that can help build confidence even to those people who may not even listen to hip hop, right? And being able to have the essence of those attributes to help build better, because that's what hip hop does. It allows for us to build better. And again, continuing to use hip hop is my assurance to my artists. So I say that to you, Jaysanityy. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Keep doing it.
Thank you, and I appreciate you for like platforms like this, because like I saw, like, I was watching your other interviews, and I just like was really thinking like, wow, like yeah, the questions, like if she asked me questions, it could really like scratch my brain on some, and like just the appreciation that you show, for hip hop, because this is something that really, it's like what everybody says is cliche, but like it quite literally has saved our lives at this point. So it's like something that I hold, you know, near and dear with me. I just seen a post like a from Curtis King, and he was talking about how like anybody that pushes their pen in this era where it's just like, like hella AI things, and just they pushing, not reading and not critically thinking, is like anybody who's pushing their pen in this era, like you could tell they really just truly have a different dedication for this. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. I was matter of fact, in LP's interview, I was telling her when I was in undergrad, when I was an undergrad student, at the end of my papers, I used to write the hip hop scholar at the bottom of them, right? And this was, not too many. We didn't email or submit our assignment, so I'm writing this on my assignment, the hip hop scholar. And this is like late '90s, early 2000s, and now in 2025, being able to host and conduct research with this PhD and everything in regards to being the hip hop scholar, it is a very humbling experience for me to have that vision then. And like you said, I had no idea that it would even come to pass to do this. But the benefit of staying true to hip hop, because it does save lives. It absolutely has and will and continues to do so. But again, the goal for me is to make certain that artists like yourself, Jaysanityy, that we can unpack and learn from you, right? We need to be able to study artists like yourself, build up your esteem and confidence, right? Because again, you are true to this. You're not new to this. You are very true to hip hop. So I want to be able to gain some understandings about your process and your thinking as well for myself, but mostly for our audience so they can learn from you. So let's talk about the vulnerability in that storytelling. Your music does carry emotional depth. What's one truth or experience that you put into your music that was hard to share, and what gave you the courage to put it out?
Dang, okay, I ain't never got asked a question like this, bro. Okay, I ain't think it was going. Let me see, cause I want to say my I have a project called a Lone Star, and I think that project in particular is like my most vulnerable piece of art. Um, because it was just, I think it was like one, it was vulnerable in the production and sonically, just because I was um just trying to tap in with different sounds, but also I was trying to tap in with how I really felt in my emotions and everything. And I I spent like around like making this project. I spent like a lot of time like in isolation to myself and just, you know, going through motions or just not wanting to be around people. And I think I did a good job in kind of capturing that whole thing within that project. Um, yeah, I think this also like has this is like for any like heavy topics I talk about, I think it does come from that project in particular. Yeah, I think it's a really solid body of work. It's low key my Mr. Morales. I be thinking on some, but yeah,
Okay. Or like United in Grief and Mother I Sober type stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Then I
real
need
like
to
real
ask.
is like you know.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Then let me ask you then, what gave you the courage to put it out? You haven't really told us exactly what it is. So, we'll wait and experience it as you want for us to experience it. But what is giving you the courage to be able to produce your Mr. Morale, your very own version of that?
Um, one it was Mr. Morale like at it like to a certain degree it was Mr. Morale and just the fact that Kendrick kind of he kind of for me at least he made it a point that it's okay to like kind of trauma dump in some like of your aspects. And I think also just me, like I said earlier, I use this as an outlet. So me just taking to that and contributing to the music every time an emotion strikes. And it don't even got to be like negative, just like, anything in general
Mm-hmm.
based on how I'm feeling, I write about it. And yeah, that's where the emotion comes from. I think like if you really want like songs in particular from that project, I say Virgo Energy, 3,000 Thoughts, and Running into Terror. I think those songs really get what I'm trying to say like right now. Like really, I feel like you could really hear the emotions in those songs the most from that. Yeah,
Where can the audience and I find that music? Because I want to link that in the video. Is that on your
all
SoundCloud
plat
or
so
on
everything. Yeah, everything is on all platforms. All my music is on all
Okay, perfect.
platforms. We in 2025, so yeah,
No, that's
yep.
right. Okay. But
The Lone
so
Star.
a Lone Star, that is the album we got to check out and see the vulnerability of Jaysanityy, your ode to Mr. Morale. And the trauma dumping and the way that Kendrick Lamar, shout out to Kendrick Lamar as well, the way that he was able to do it in such a different way, right? Not to do the same type of cadence or rap lyrics. He really wanted to capture the emotions to it and really be able to merge genres with that music as well, where it wasn't a traditional rap album. And some people, the counter argument is that some people are like, oh, well, that album wasn't his best album, when really, for those who really are true to listening and understanding what he's trying to give, that's definitely one of the ones that touched us the most because of the vulnerability, because of his ability to share his trauma and teach others about therapy, going to therapy, being united in grief, and trying to navigate when you go through that, especially in 2025 when things are happening, life is lifing, um, and
Right.
taking that step back to say,
Really.
let me show you how to do this. And yeah, so I'm thankful that you were able to have that mentor text from the Morale album to create your own. So a Lone Star, hip hop fam, that's what we got to listen to hear about Jaysanityy. I still got a few more questions to ask and unpack this with you. But let's talk about your vision. Like, we talked about the present, we've talked about your past. Now, what do you want people to think about in 20 years from now? What do you hope people say about the impact of your music and the lane that you have carved?
Hmm. I think 10 years from now, I want to just, I want to, well, one, I want to be like, respected for what I'm doing right now. And just that initial, like core in what I do, I want that to be known and I want people to remember me for that. But also, I want people to remember how I've like pushed my sound because I'm really on some stuff where it's like at this point, I think I made like, just a lot of boom bap, a lot of rap, a lot of, lyrical stuff. And it's cool, boom bap for like, I'll always be saying boom bap for like, that's low key an inside joke. But it's so much like, I'm a, I love music, and I think I'm gonna always find a way to incorporate that boom bap element into any other thing that I create in the future. So I just want people to tap in with that and see that we really, we really doing something over here, and it's something that I do believe is gonna last, you know, and yeah, yeah, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
think with you, like, especially you, have made me realize that, yeah, like, I am on the right path to that, and just
Mhm.
knowing that people like you who are looking, for the talent and the sea of whatever it is that's going on right now, that stuff like little things like that give me hope into seeing that be my future in the next 10 years. So I appreciate that for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is that is my charge as a hip hop scholar, as the elder even, because I do have many different generations on this podcast. Some that are in my generation where we can reminisce on a lot of the old school and look at the, compare and contrast, but then the youth, looking at how the youth take in everything in this digital age, and know that it's a struggle to be heard, but people are listening. People are absolutely listening, and most importantly, hearing yourself and using that as a way of expression. So, I often ask people about what does it mean to make it. What does make it mean to you? Does it mean that you have the multi-million-dollar contract, you won the Grammys, or you have all the awards, or is it that you were able to express yourself and create this repository or this collection of music that channeled your life when it was, when you were living your life? And pushing people to think about that. What does it mean to make it when it comes to music? When do you find that destination or that trophy for you? What does that trophy look like, to show that it was all worth it in the end? And maybe you could answer that now, or that may be something that you have to contemplate. What do you think about that?
I'm just trying to go on tour, like I'm really just trying like once I go on like a like a country, like a full country tour, like I'll be like that's enough for me, because I'm like this really, like I said, this is just something sacred to me, and I don't know, money, that's something that we getting along with it, attention, notoriety, that's stuff that's gonna come along with it, but I think just knowing that I'm able to provide for myself off this, alone, and knowing that that's possible right now, I think that's what making it for like right now, what that looks like for me. Just being able to support myself off this.
That's right. And
Yeah.
this is also in the day and age where, I'm thinking about what happened to that Dallas Cowboys player who unalived himself, and him having mental health issues and having a mental health crisis. So also, this supporting you in the mental health, right? And I speak on that sometimes as well, where it may not be about the money, but it could absolutely be about just keeping yourself sane in a crazy world, keeping yourself straight and helping others to keep themselves straight and able to get up in the morning, even as simple as that. That's just something to really contemplate on, going on tour, like, head out to Houston, Texas, I will be front row. Trust that, Jaysanityy. I will be front row cheering you on. For sure.
Yes.
I will be in the building.
Now
Trust
see,
that.
now I gotta make it happen.
And
Now I gotta make it happen now.
and you may very well do so. This just may be something that you already had for yourself, and I just said it again, like just confirmation of where you are, and maybe even a bit of deja vu that you've always thought about that, and now you're just saying it out loud, right? And so again, 10 years, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, creating that legacy of Jaysanityy, of who you are, who you became, and the legacy that is left for the people to grow from. That is the path that you are creating, and you're doing a phenomenal job with doing that too, young sir. So know that, okay? Please know that.
I'm knowing now. I'm knowing
Yep.
now. Nah, I appreciate
Yeah,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
good. Yes, sir. Let me ask you some another question. If you could describe the next chapter of your sound in 3 words, whether it's artistically, emotionally, or spiritually, what would they be and why? So, as you are growing in your music, give me 3 words that will describe the next chapter of your sound.
Um. Okay. Honest,
Okay.
raw, and mesmerizing.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Honest, raw, mesmerizing.
honest,
And
mesmerizing.
I think
Okay.
I think I'm gonna just leave it at that. I think I'm gonna just leave it
Okay.
at that, and whatever comes, with the music, we gonna see if that matches. Yeah.
Okay. And that may just be the start of something. Being honest, being raw, which means being pure and untouched, and then mesmerizing, where people are befounded, they're befuddled by what they're hearing and experiencing, and they can't even define what they're feeling. So those are three great words, and yes, we will leave it at that, and leave those 3 words as is, and we'll watch them grow from there. Yeah, that'll be our little inside joke. Be like, oh, there you go, on this wrong, mesmerizing. All right, so let's do some fun questions, right? Let's do some fun questions towards the end of the podcast. If you could perform anywhere in the world, no budget, no limits, what stage are you choosing and why?
Ooh, um, low key, low key. I'm thinking. I'm really trying to think. I don't know. I like the thing with me. I'll literally perform anywhere. So I'll be going some like I'll perform like in a dirt desert if I had the opportunity. But maybe I think I'll say I want to perform like overseas, like not necessarily West Africa, but just like Africa in general. So I guess yeah, somewhere out in Africa. No budget, no nothing. Like we just make that happen
Mm-hmm.
out there. That would be tough, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
eventually that's gonna be something that will happen for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta
So the
bring it back
continent of
home.
Africa. Yeah. Sankofa. That's a African word, Sankofa, to bring it back to where it began.
Mm,
And yeah,
yeah,
to the homeland. That's nice. Okay.
that's a
And
Ghanaian
that
word,
may,
right? I believe that's Ghanaian.
yes it is. Yes it is. Yes it is. Yep. I have my first tattoo. I have it on the back, right behind my in my back. It's Jaysanityy, and it means I fear nothing except God. And I got that tattoo about 24 years ago now. It's an old tattoo. But yes, it was based off of a African studies class that I was taking in undergrad. And it was from Ghana, definitely a Ghanaian word and symbol, same as the Sankofa symbol of the bird reaching back to retrieve. and bring back to retrieve and bring back what it's where it started from. And so that's beautiful for you, Jaysanityy, to say, out of all the places in the world, you could have even said the moon, but the first place that you said was Africa. And that's where you started this interview from. You started Africa, and the place in the world is Africa. So there's something there for you, sir. So I'm glad to hear that. Real nicely said.
Yes,
Let's
indeed.
see. So if you weren't making music, what would your alternate universe self be doing right now? So if we had a different universe and another type of a portal, if you weren't making music, what would you be doing?
I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have been like made a cartoon or like a like animation type show, something along the lines of that. Um, I was literally just talking about this. Like I'm still trying to do that eventually, cause like I said, I used to be into that type of stuff, and I'm still heavy into cartoons at my adult age. But yeah, I think that'll be really cool. I'm like that's also like some of the things that come into what I was doing as a kid, like just making animations. Pretty shitty animations, but they were for the time being they were something. And I think if I wasn't making music, it would really be more of a focus on like graphic design, videos, visuals. But yeah, the cartoon is definitely still something that we try to make happen. Try to make that happen for sure.
I'm happy you said that because there is this story that I've written that I would love to be animated, right? Like it could be done with, people in the real world spectrum, but I think the animation piece of it would just be much doper to bring this story alive. And it is based on hip hop as well. And it's titled Cayenne Laredo, the superhero, and she saves the world with hip hop. And it's a dope story, but I always felt that it would be animated and not necessarily with real people. So I also think about there's I forget this lady's name, but she received her PhD with the Boondocks cartoon. Are you familiar with the Boondocks? And yeah,
Man,
you remember the
what?
Boondocks?
That's one of those
Okay.
shows that just shaped, bro. Like that's one of those shows that like also just shaped the way I am, literally. Yeah, I'm very
Uh,
familiar. Yeah, I low
And
key
so
geeked out
we
on
and
Boondocks. Is crazy, but bro, that's one of them shows.
it really would. And we really could use that now. We could use that type of animation to talk about the themes and the topics that are happening now. So even though question is about an
Yeah,
alternative universe, I encourage you to tap into that side of you as well. This was a duality type of a question where to activate the left brain and the right brain that possibly you could channel that energy and bring those two people together from both universes and go seriously into animation and balancing it with your with the hip hop. In 2025, and I tell this to my students as well, they are creating jobs, right? There's not a job on Indeed for you to apply for, but you're creating your own lane. You are creating your own path. So that's just something to really consider and think about for yourself is using that animation prowess and with your hip hop power and synthesizing that to make something new. So, and that's for you. That's that sonic architecture that we talked about. So, just something for you to think about. Something to think about.
yeah, definitely. I think like I said, I really do want to be able to do that. I recently been listening to like a lot of Outkast and really just like AT aliens in particular. And then I read like that they had like actually released a comic book when they had dropped the
Mm-hmm.
album. And I think that's cool. And I'm trying to do something like that, but like maybe with an animation and like I drop an animation along with a project. Like stuff like that. I think it's just a matter of me actually getting to the point of executing on that idea. But yeah, that'll
Mm-hmm.
come for sure.
Yeah, whenever it does, drop it on TikTok. I'll be watching, and many other people will be watching too. and you just never know. You never know what can come of it. But that is something that you're passionate about. This is probably the fourth or fifth time you've brought up animation. So there's something there, Jaysanity, something there. Hmm.
Yeah, bro. Like I be thinking like, yo, if I really had, I gotta get back into that, bro. I gotta get back into because if I really sharpen those aspects of my skills, then I would already be, incorporating it more than I am right now. But like it's all within time. It's all within time. It's all gonna come back, like you said.
That's right. It'll all settle in together nicely, like a nice created gumbo. Are you familiar with the dish gumbo? I'm from Louisiana, and with
Yeah.
gumbo, when you create gumbo, it takes a long time to make the roux, and you got to cut up all these vegetables and put in so many different ingredients. But here's the thing about the gumbo: when you put a gumbo together, the best time to eat the gumbo is the next day, because that's when everything has merged and everything has marinated together. So it's no rush to put things together, because the enjoyment of the gumbo is not taken until the next day. So take your time. It's all going to come together and be blended and be as delicious as a beautiful gumbo. So just know to keep on stirring that roux, because if not, it's going to burn.
Again, can't let it, bro. We cannot let that burn. Cannot let it burn.
No, do
Nah, yeah,
not
definitely.
do
Yeah.
that. Yep. Let me ask you one more question. I want to honor your time, but I have one more question that I want to ask. What's one weird, random, or unexpected thing about you that your friends would never guess?
Yeah, I'm low key unhinged. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I do be unhinged. Like at certain points, I'm trying to think of like just some in particular. I don't know, man. I fell out a window when I was 5. I
Oh,
I yeah. It was just stupid. It was just
okay.
really really dumb. But I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I really like can't think of anything that'll really I think stuff like that is just like stuff you gotta find more within experiencing me and being more in tune with me. Cause I think
Mm-hmm,
like on
mm-hmm.
the internet I really do just be cooling, trying to keep it cool, but like I don't know the people who see me in real life like they know what type of timing I be on, bro. So yeah.
Well, bringing up the fact that when you were 5, you fell out of a window, though, you didn't. Did you break any bones? I mean, you're alive today, so you survived it.
Yeah, I
Did you
broke my
break any
leg. I think it
bones?
was my left leg.
Okay, okay.
I think it was my left leg. That was an interesting time period. But I was in a
Okay.
wheelchair for like a month.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like literally the only time I've ever gotten injured.
Oh, that one and only time.
Yeah, I remember
One and
that.
only time that you got hurt was when you were
Yeah,
5. And so, but now you're still standing. You're still standing now. So,
exactly.
there we go. There we go.
Yeah,
So
and
that
it's like,
is.
bro, I had a bar. I had a bar in that not to cut you up, but I had a bar in that in the Lone Star album where I was saying like when I was a youngin' I fell out the window, but the rocks that they throwing out don't affect me. They feel little. And I think what you just said, like the fact that I'm still standing, like yeah, bro, like cause we still here, we still good. So, yeah, like thank you for that.
Absolutely. Something I share with a friend of mine, that I've seen in different places. They tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. And so growing strong and stronger and still growing is what we do. Yeah.
They tried to bury us, they didn't know we were seeds. That's fine. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
I like that.
I definitely taught in part. Good. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed this interview. I have definitely enjoyed getting to know Jaysanity better, um, for the podcast and for our audience. Any last words that you would like to share with us before we sign off?
Check for me, check for me, check for me out now. It's my latest project. Um, big love, big love, big love, and thank you for tuning in. And thank you for having me. And that's all I got to say.
For sure. Absolutely. And thank you for joining us on the Hip Hop Scholar podcast. Hip Hop Scholar fam, check them out on all platforms. A Lone Star, one of those albums we're going to check out. He's on TikTok on a freestyle. Y'all check him out there. And so I'm Melanie, the Hip Hop Scholar. We are out of here. Peace.
Yes, perfect, 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 perfect.